Welcome, Nesco Nation, to this week's episode of Hireside Chats. Joining us again today is our very own Amy Marn. Thanks again for joining us for a second time, Amy.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. It went really well last time. People seem to enjoy it. So this week figured since we had a good set of episodes throughout May with Mental Health Awareness Month, thanks to Curtis and his dad. And I know we talked a little bit about mental health as well, with mostly focused on the mindset side of things when we first spoke, that I don't think everybody realizes, or maybe some people don't realize, how important it is to also have the action items involved, where you can do all you want to change your mindset or adjust how you're thinking about something or how you're going about things in terms of mindset, but you have to have those action items as well. So I know today we wanted to put a big focus on action versus mindset. So I guess we'll kind of kick it off to you and see where you want to take us with that.
Absolutely. I love this topic. I coach people on this topic quite a bit, and inevitably this comes up even in conversations with managers and employees that I'm working with in Nesco Nation. But you can, for me, action and mindset, you could say action versus mindset. To me, it's chicken and the egg kind of conversation. You know, which comes first?
Yeah.
Mindset first, or do you work on your action first? And what's the best way to move yourself forward and to move forward in your job, in your health, in your life, whatever the context is. And I think, that's why I say this is very much a chicken and the egg kind of conversation for me, because it can go either way, really. I think that a lot of times in my personal experience with mindset, I can work on personal development. I can focus on, mindset. But if I'm really beautifully, when we talked about this before, if you don't put that mindset into action, you're not going to go anywhere. Nothing's going to happen. So it can be tough too, because I think sometimes when you focus so hard on changing one particular thing, it can make it that much harder to change. If you're
kind of get too absorbed into that one thing. Yeah.
Yes. So sometimes the action is what needs to happen in order to shift your mindset. Sometimes there's really a very good reason that you focus on the mindset piece and getting yourself into a good headspace, doing personal development and things like that. But sometimes, like, I'll give you an example. I was having a time of it in the evening, and just could not get myself into a positive space. Like everything was negative that particular evening. And, my kids were in bed, my husband was in bed, and it was just me. And, what I ultimately decided to do is I made a choice that I don't normally or haven't historically made. And that was just to start washing the dishes. That wasn't in particular something that I thought was going to put me in a better mood. In fact, I thought probably the opposite would happen. What just crawled across your screen?
I was going to say, ignore the green bug that just crawled across the camera. He's just having a fun time hanging out on the computer.
So creepy. I love that just happened though. But ironically, when I started getting into action on something, when I just picked something and started, instead of doing what I wanted to do, which was, indulge in some chocolate and binge watch some Friends, instead, I got up and I started to do the dishes. I didn't really want to do the dishes, but it got me into action. It got me doing something. And by the end, once the sink was clean, I was in a much better mental space, and I really didn't stay up any later than I would have had I turned on the TV and started watching Netflix. So those are the kinds of choices that you make to get into action that will help to get you into better mindset. And, you can use that in any context. You can use that when it comes to your health. You can use that when it comes to your work. A really good example is making calls. You could be in, whether you're a business development manager, whether you're, in that sales mode, or whether you're in recruiting mode. Right now it's tough to fill jobs. There are lots of people that aren't ready to go back to work right now. There are lots of people.
True.
We're facing a lot of hurdles in our industry, but sometimes, rather than focusing on, okay, I got to get into a positive mindset, I got to get a positive attitude. Sometimes it's hard to force yourself into that. But if you pick up the phone and you just start pounding out calls, inevitably you're going to have, the more calls you make, the more positive conversations you're going to have, the more connections you're going to make. That is going to turn your mindset around. So I think oftentimes we get into this paralysis of, I have to be positive in order to be productive. When if you start to be a little more productive, you will become more positive. So, and you kind of have to do a gut check. Sometimes it's not going to be the same thing for you every day. Sometimes you really do need to focus on your mindset in order to start doing the things you need to do. Other times, sometimes you just need to pick something and start.
It's almost like you have to figure out if it's really the fact that you're not in the right mindset that's causing the actions not to happen, or is it the action that you're avoiding that's causing you not to be in the right mindset? Because just
really
like the dishes, you could be not wanting to do the dishes, which puts you in more of a negative mindset, whereas you did them and felt better. So maybe it's just shifting what you're looking at instead of pushing away, making calls, or not thinking you're getting enough placements, and just do it. And then once you start getting those filled back up, you'll end up being in the more positive mindset. So it's not so much do one or the other, or you can't just do one and expect the other to come. You kind of have to do them both hand in hand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And shameless plug for hydration. You can do this within your own personal health too. So, I tend to, stack habits. We could talk about that in a different but you could say, I need to drink more water. I'm not feeling great. My mornings, I'm leaning on coffee and it's not helping me. You could try to get into the right mindset of, I want to be healthier, so I'm going to drink more water. Or you could just pick up the bottle and drink more water, and that will help you feel better. And your mindset is going to be like, oh, I feel better when I drink water first thing in the morning instead of coffee. I mean, have your cup of coffee. You don't have to cut that out.
Right.
But it's concept. And, I make that plug because then ultimately, when your body's feeling better, your brain is feeling better, and you tend to be more productive. So it all ties together.
No, I like that. I think that's a good thing that we can kind of very easily flows into what we talked about the last time. I think it's a good thing we can pull out is don't focus entirely on just your mindset. So if you're doing that, you're going to forget about, might as well just do the action, and then maybe the mindset will come along with it. So I guess to kind of sum things up, is there anything that you would say in more of a kind of a takeaway from this that would be a good way to kind of push towards changing from focusing entirely on mindset or entirely on the actions, and just how we should go about executing that in our daily lives?
So two things. One, I think you're going to laugh at, but the other is a little more legit. The first thing is, sometimes it's not so much getting into the right mindset as it is letting go of the wrong one. And I feel like that's why action helps, is because that fixation on, I'm in the wrong mindset, I need to change this, is sometimes calls us out. But if our focus on, I'm going to let go of this mindset that I'm in, and I'm just going to start somewhere, that opens up the space for the more positive, healthy mindset to come, right? So that's thing number one. Focus less on, I have to get into this mindset, and more on, I'm going to let go of what I've got going on up here, and I'm just going to get into action. So that's number one. Number two, wash the dishes, make the calls, drink the water.
That's easy. Simply put.
If you do no other actions but those three things, your life will improve, guaranteed. Try it, and if it doesn't work, call me. I want to know about it.
I think that's good. That actually goes into a whole nother topic we could dive into, but there's a book by an admiral, also a speech that he did at a college about making your bed. And I mean, you said the water, you said just make the calls. It's something as simple as make your bed in the morning. If every single thing goes wrong the rest of the day, you already had that small accomplishment.
Yes.
So something as simple as just drink the water, just make the calls. It could be just that simple.
Yes.
But
yep. Wash the dishes, make the calls, drink the water.
Narrowed it down into 3 different points. I like it. Awesome. Well, Amy, thanks again for joining us. I know we can go on a very large amount of different topics. So hopefully you'd be able to join us a few other times and we can cover some more topics around this.
Happy
find
to.
it pretty beneficial. But again, to the rest of Nesco Nation and all of our viewers, if there are any topics or anything that you have interest in hearing more about, feel free to shoot us an email or just comment on the videos. Let us know any ideas you might have. We'd be happy to go over them. Otherwise, continue staying safe, happy, healthy, and enjoy the rest of your day.